And like, for example, when I go back to where I came from in Senegal, I was never like the type of person that will open up and talk about issues. I was very reserved, but after coming here in Chicago, I have noticed the different issues, and they have really pushed me to talk about what I wanted to talk about rather than just staying quiet. And so I think my community has really impacted me in a very positive way. I think I'll probably just conform and do what everyone else wants me to do rather than what I want to do.
Well, I live in a caring community, so everybody care for each other and looks after each other. So that has kind of helped me do the same for other people. Living in a different city will probably change the culture that I'm in. You know, around the people that I'm around. A different time could change what I would do, the things I would say. You know.
Think that it's a fairly good base of people, young and old, who are already established to do some of those things that we should do, which is, looking out for each other, take care of the property, and just help to try to promote a safe block. So the community has influenced me, but I think I also brought the way I was taught in Philadelphia. I think I brought that to the makeup of the block as well.
Well, I lived in Texas, Dallas. I moved around a lot, and it made me kind of selfish because I had everything, and so did everybody else. I didn't really have to give back or anything like that. But when I came here, I noticed it was totally different. So I started giving back more and realizing that other people went through worse situations than me. I had more opportunities because it was just given to me. Here, I have to work for everything, which I really like. It actually shows that I'm capable of stuff I didn't even know I was capable of.
I just seen a lot. I seen a lot. Like, I've been through a lot. I've, seen people get shot, like, right outside my window. I've been through, I've been robbed at gunpoint. So, like, I've been through a lot. I've seen a lot. I have a whole bunch of really close family members that are gang affiliated. So, yes, it impacts me a lot. I have to make sure I watch which block I go on. We can't have family reunions on certain blocks because we be scared that we gonna get shot at.
I think I've been impacted in a negative way because I feel like being in Chicago, I'm very limited to what I can have.
I was impacted by my community, one being my uncle, who worked for Boeing. When I was 9 years old, I went to Seattle, Washington, and this was back in the 70s. So I got the opportunity to get in a Boeing 747 before they were even released. So as a kid, getting in a Boeing 747, it inspired me to want to be an astronaut and a pilot. So I went to college. My original major was aerospace. I found out I'm a little too big for a pilot, so I changed my major to electrical and computer engineering. But it did inspire me.
I think I've been impacted positively by my community because I don't think if I didn't move to Chicago, I would have had this opportunity, like to work with Kenwood Oakland community. They have different programs. They meet with aldermen. They meet with the mayor. They talk about social injustices that happen in Chicago. So I think without me being in this community, I wouldn't have known about such an amazing opportunity to be a part of. Wouldn't have met like the number of people I've met and gotten the opportunity and exposure I've gotten because the Kenwood Oakland community is in Chicago. It's only in Chicago, but they have different branches and different organizations in different cities. But I think the one in Chicago is really special as to what they do and the people that work with them.
Living in an inner city / community area, there aren't a lot of resources. So there's this resource called there's a program called Chicago Scholars, and they target inner city / low income / first generation students. And coming from my community, I was able to learn about this program and get accepted to the program. I feel like if I came from a richer city / neighborhood, I feel like I wouldn't work as hard because like things will be thrown at me and I would already have things my way. So I wouldn't work as hard as I do now.
I felt like it was the community that helped educate me. It was not just what I learned in the classroom, but it was the wraparound of what was going on in the community, from our next door neighbor, Miss Sadie, who would, educate me on you can be smart with books, but you need to have some common sense. So Miss Sadie would sit on her porch and I would sit on my porch and she would school me. So community to me raised me, and I believe that some of the convictions that I have about being involved in the community comes from people like Miss Sadie and others. And because I've visited so many other states, living in Nebraska, Kansas, Virginia, Florida, if I were from a different community, I don't know that I would be the person that I am sitting here today.
Recently, it was a shooting across the street from where I lived, and so we had to go through like the alley to get into my house, and then my brother was also out like towards my house, and so he was very frightened, which caused like not a lot of trauma, but like it was very effective towards me and my family to know that if we wasn't gone in the time that we would have been in that scenario. Yeah, I would think my lifestyle or how me and my family live, it wouldn't be different, but like financial wise or like house wise, it would probably be better and like not worn down, or you'd probably see buildings that wasn't abandoned, and you probably see like less people on the streets or on the corners.
It has helped me to enjoy music more, and it's even made me consider having music as a career, because I know Chicago is sort of a dangerous place to be in, so I say I'll be able to be outside a little more. I'll be less cautious of the environment.
I'd say some things have changed since when I was living in Elgin, but I wouldn't say it's really had a major impact on me. I'm still living my life, still trying to be the most successful person I can be out here. I don't think it really would be different. I mean, you'd probably have to worry about less things, but honestly, there's not as many things or not as many bad things that happen, in Chicago as people really say. I mean, these things happen, but this is based on a population. If you compare the population of what it is now to other locations, you'll find that the crime is basically the same, which tends to happen if crime tends to happen if there's a big separation in wealth, or if there seems to be a huge population.
Yeah, maybe productive, and it's less me having to look over my shoulder and like, oh, like I have to worry about getting shot or just kidnapped or just anything happen to me, and it'll just be more quieter and more family oriented.
I'm more like alert now, so about the violence been going on, so I'm more alert now, I'm more attentive to things that's going on. Detroit, Memphis, and Las Vegas, but the cities are still the same.
They're still the same?
Yeah, just in the city is poverty and it's violence.
Well, I've been impacted by my community just because it's just pretty much really not everything that I know, but most of the things that I know is from my community, and without my community, I wouldn't be where I'm at now. It just depends on where I'm from. If I live in Naperville or something, then my education might be better. I might be at a better school, might have more money, but if I lived in somewhere worse, then my situation could be worse.
I used to see all types of things within that neighborhood. My life has changed since I've moved into this new community. It's changed for the better. I sleep way more, and it's very peaceful in my neighborhood. At my old house, it was a lot of sirens. It could be from the fire station across the street, or it could be from the police surrounding someone on 79th. A lot of gunshots, but we used to tell my brother it was just fireworks because he's too young to know what actual gunshots are or what's happening around the neighborhood.
With the neighborhood I live in, it isn't bad. I'm like, there's the occasional shooting, but other than that, I don't live in a bad neighborhood where I'm the fear of getting robbed or anything. But I still live on the south side, and just that alone is sometimes dangerous. I never went out of the house really, but I'm not afraid to really travel But definitely with how dangerous Chicago is as a whole, and what my parents have told me, things on the news, I definitely could say that I'd stay in the house because of some of that.
On an emotional level, I've been impacted a lot by my community. And this particular community I'm in now, I haven't been here that long, but in previous communities, I've been impacted emotionally because of the violence in the community, the lack of funding for certain programs, the lack of, in certain areas, the lack of grocery stores. I might be able to save a little bit more money because the taxes in Chicago are high. They have taxes and penalties for everything in Chicago. The safety, I probably wouldn't have to worry as much about safety for my kids and depending on the neighborhood or the community I live in.
My community is not a very good community, so my community has people thinking, like, if I tell them what community I'm from, they'll give me like a side eye, like, oh my God, that's a bad community. Because, you know, the way the media portrays my community is affecting the way people look at me. My life would still be, I feel like it wouldn't be as good. Because, you know, I've been used to this community. I know how to, you know, get around the ins and outs. No, but it's a busy place. It's a lot of things going on in Chicago, so I feel like any place out of Chicago, I wouldn't really feel too comfortable because I don't know what's going on there, and I'm not really used to it.
Negatively, because it's not a good neighborhood. Well, my block is a good block, but the neighborhood overall isn't as good as it can be. But in school, as my community, I've been impacted positively, I would say.
One thing my community probably taught me is how to be alert and just be aware of my surroundings. Because we live in a big city, like Chicago, you have to be aware of your surroundings and just be a fast-paced up person, you know. I don't think my life would be different. Well, you know what? Maybe if I stay south, maybe it'll be a little slower. I believe that the South is a little slower paced than Chicago. So I like Chicago. That's I don't think my life will be different. We have so many opportunities here in Chicago. That's why we should, you know, actually stay. I don't think me moving to a different city would, it probably will slow me down, if anything. I think Chicago keeps me up on my feet, my toes.
It made me the person I am today. Like, I don't think if I wasn't in this community, like, it wouldn't, like, it shaped the way I am, the way that I do things, because, like, you gotta always be careful, you gotta always watch, you know. I just think being in this community, it taught me, it made me advance. Like, if I would never experience or saw the things that I did, I'd not be the person I am today. Like, I would not be able to adjust to things real quickly. I don't think I'd be prepared for more stuff or be able to adjust to different things or adapt to different things quickly now that I'm, you know, that I was born in Chicago. Like, I don't think another city would prepare me for this.
My community has made me want to expand my horizons and see other parts of the world. Well, being there for 17 years, it's the same thing over, the same types of food, the same types of music, and the same type of people and ideas. But by going to different places, I get to broaden my perspective on those cultural aspects.